Hey, good morning, family. So I'm out walking again this morning, and was just thinking about the video that I posted yesterday on the 42 negative confessions of Maat. And I knew that was not necessarily going to be a video that would be popular for a lot of people, or well liked, I should say. Obviously, a lot of people watched it, but it really flew into the face of a lot of people that teach a lot of these ideas that they call Kemetic. But again, just my intuition and knowledge of metaphysics told me that those 42 laws that were expressed were not correct, okay? And understand that anybody can take on what they want, that if it makes their life better, I say more power to you. But in this instance, I knew the religious frame that was being expressed, or I intuitively knew the religious frame. So I didn't know in the beginning where those ideas came from, but I just know over the years that people have always said, the 42 laws of Ma'at, or the 42 negative confessions. They were always expressing these ideas. So but at some point, I'm just like, I got to figure out, where is this stuff coming from? What's happening here? So that's why I ended up creating the video yesterday. But then it started to make me curious about E.A. Wallis Budge, and my idea that basically the information that was being shared with the 42 negative confessions, I felt that there was it had a religious bias to it. I mean, it sounded like the 10 Commandments. So I had a lot of people that would basically say, the negative confessions were part of the 10 Commandments, or the 10 Commandments came from the negative confessions. I'm like, no, they didn't. So the negative confessions were not, they were created by E.A. Wallis Budge, okay? He misinterpreted some ideas, and he created the negative confessions. Now, the Book of the Dead, of course, is thousands of years old, okay? But I've read other translations from the Book of the Dead that did not have those negative confessions. So again, when E.A. Wallis Budge, I have a number of his books, even where he's translated the Medu Neter, and basically one book I remember was on Osiris, that I was trying to just get information on the idea of Osiris and what it meant. And just from the knowledge that I've studied, again, I knew that what he was doing was not right. His translations of these ideas were just so terrible. I just left the book alone. I didn't even want to read it. After even the first chapter, I don't even know if I got through the first chapter. So I got curious about Budge, and I knew, again, just from my studies, that his content, his books, which he wrote many, he translated the Medu Neter and all kinds of stuff. So he wrote a lot of stuff, but he was not very well received among Egyptologists, and I wanted to know why. So I wanted to research why Egyptologists don't see him as somebody in high esteem within that community. And sure enough, just mistranslations, misusing words, and also one of the things that I saw modern researchers say was that you would get stuff through a religious bias, and you would have texts that were missing that should have been there, that he basically wanted to craft into his whatever about the Egyptian spiritual system. So he would leave stuff out. He would basically graft his religious views onto things, and sure enough, that's what the 42 negative confessions are. All they are is the 10 commandments with more commandments. So, you know, so it was interesting to have people still kind of like, push back, on that, because it's like when we get to our beliefs, we don't want them to be upset. We don't care if it's truth or not. If we're comfortable with those beliefs, we do not want those beliefs to be upset or I don't know what to say. We don't want to break those beliefs. Okay. So again, it was just, for me, I understand metaphysical principles. I am really I studied and have studied metaphysics for well over 15 years. Okay, and I just know that negative stuff, or when they were saying I am not, I just know I knew that was not the way that these ideas were supposed to be presented. Okay. So, but to say the least, he was not very well received, because the knowledge that he shared, the content that he shared, just was not reliable. Okay. And it was oftentimes from a religious bias. And all of us know, that have studied anything about Kemetic knows how ancient Egyptologists basically thought that the ancient Africans were worshiping cats and birds and dogs and trees, rivers. They thought that all of these things were being called gods by the Africans. They had absolutely no respect for their metaphysical knowledge and abilities. But once you understand the metaphysics behind this stuff, you will see that these Egyptian sages were absolute fucking geniuses. They knew this stuff backwards and forwards. Okay, they ended up teaching the Greeks, who ended up spreading this knowledge around Asia Minor and different places, that the Christians ended up turning into the Christian religion. But understand that Kemeticism, the original Kemeticism, was not a religion. Okay? So with the advent of the New Age and a lot of the stuff, the Hermetic teachings and stuff like that, they will say that they got it from the Greeks. But the Greeks got it from the ancient Africans. Okay? Law of attraction. Again, it was alluded to that the law of attraction came from the Greeks. Okay, but the Greeks got their knowledge from ancient Kemeticism, all right, from the ancient Africans. So all this stuff that we are talking about, as far as metaphysics and religion and stuff like that, Africa had such an influence on this stuff, okay? A major influence that has been discounted for years, okay? For centuries has been discounted, okay? And no more. But I'll say this as far as the religious bent on the 42 negative confessions. If you want to stay religious and you want to stay in that frame, more power to you. But we know what religion has done to our people. Okay? I am asking you, when you come to this channel, I am asking you to think differently. I am asking you to get out of that box and to do something different and really understand the metaphysical principles to operate by. Because once you get and understand the metaphysical and Kemetic principles that these principles were founded on, then you are able to see through a lot of the bullshit. That's what helped me see through the negative confessions. I've heard about it for 20 years. I knew about it, but I never cared to research them because not 20 years. I would say I've heard about it for over 15 years. So, okay, so that stuff has been around, and so it was not new to me, but I know how religion has caused us to think of ourselves in limited ways, and if we continue to rehash religion and recouch it as something different, but do nothing but the same religious stuff because it's comfortable, we are doing a disservice to people. Okay? Religion destroys and has destroyed so many of our people from the inside out, and our communities reflect it. Okay. So I don't have anything against religion per se, but I do have something against the negative programming that religion has really put us in, or put into us. Okay. And if you're looking at the 42 negative confessions as rules to follow, that's one problem right there. You know, had somebody say, well, there are 147 of them. Well, shit, it's 147 rules that don't work. So, you know, so again, I understand that people do not want their sacred cows tipped over, but I'm here to offer the truth. I'm here to offer the research. I give you the research that where I find this stuff, because really and truly, there is a lot deeper knowledge to go to that can help you. Okay, there's a lot more that you can use to really help yourself as a soul having a human experience. And when you understand the deeper side of the Kemetic knowledge, that's where you'll go to. Okay. All right, family. Hey, y'all have an amazing day, and I will talk to y'all at another time. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.